My name is Jack Thompson, and I'm the best darn intergalactic detective this side of the Milky Way. I'm known for my razor-sharp wit, unyielding sarcasm, and a tendency to get into more trouble than I can handle. But hey, someone's got to do it, right? So, when the galaxy's most valuable artifact went missing, guess who they called? That's right, me. It was a typical Monday morning and I was nursing a hangover that felt like a neutron star had collided with my skull. My AI assistant, Vera, chirped to life, her digital face popping up on my holo display. "Jack, you've got a priority message from the Galactic Council," she said, her voice annoyingly chipper. "Tell them to shove it," I grumbled, reaching for my coffee. "I think you'll want to take this one," she insisted. "It's about the celestial sphere." I groaned. The celestial sphere was the most priceless artifact in the galaxy, rumored to hold the key to some ancient alien tech that could, I don't know, save the universe or something equally dramatic. "Fine, patch them through," I sighed. A hologram of Counselor Vecta appeared, his three eyes blinking out of sync. "Detective Thompson, the celestial sphere has been stolen from the Galactic Museum. We need you to recover it." "Great," I muttered. "Just what I needed, another migraine." I arrived at the Galactic Museum, a towering structure that looked like a cross between a spaceship and a cathedral. The place was swarming with security bots and panicked staff. The museum itself was a marvel of modern engineering, with floating platforms and gravity-defying exhibits showcasing artifacts from across the universe. "Detective Thompson over here!" shouted a frazzled curator named Glorbus, his antennae twitching nervously. "So what's the damage?" I asked, eyeing the empty pedestal where the sphere once rested. "It's gone! Vanished! Disappeared into thin air!" Glorbus wailed, his greenish complexion turning a sickly shade of lime. I glanced at the pedestal, then back at Glorbus. "You don't say. Any leads?" Glorbus shook his head. "None. The security footage shows nothing. One moment it was there, and the next, poof." "Poof, huh? That's a technical term, I assume," I said, rolling my eyes. "All right, show me the footage." We made our way to the security room, where a dozen screens displayed various angles of the museum. I zeroed in on the one showing the sphere's exhibit. Sure enough, one moment it was there, and the next, it wasn't. "Great," I muttered. "A disappearing act. Just what I needed." Vera's voice piped up in my earpiece. "Jack, I've scanned the footage and detected a minute temporal distortion at the exact moment the sphere vanished. It's consistent with a teleportation device." "Teleportation, huh? So we're dealing with someone who's got access to high-level tech. Wonderful," I said sarcastically. "All right, Glorbus, who had access to this room?" Glorbus handed me a list of names, all museum staff and contractors. As I scanned the list, one name stood out, Dr. Zylock, a renowned xenoarchaeologist with a penchant for collecting rare artifacts. "Where can I find Dr. Zylock?" I asked. "He's in his lab down in the lower levels," Glorbus replied. "Of course he is," I said with a sigh. "Lead the way." Dr. Zylock's lab was exactly what you'd expect from a mad scientist. Cluttered, chaotic, and filled with strange gadgets and gizmos. The lab itself was a labyrinthine warren of interconnected chambers, each filled with bizarre alien artifacts and high-tech equipment. Zylock himself was a tall, thin alien with 4 arms and a nervous twitch. "Detective Thompson, to what do I owe the pleasure?" he asked, his voice dripping with false politeness. "Cut the crap, Zylock. The celestial sphere is missing and I've got a hunch you know something about it," I said, crossing my arms. Zylock's eyes darted around the room. "I assure you, I have no idea what you're talking about." "Uh-huh, and I'm the Queen of Andromeda. Spill it, Zylock, or I start tearing this place apart," I threatened. Zylock sighed. "All right, fine, I might have borrowed the sphere for a little experiment." "Borrowed?" I repeated, raising an eyebrow. "You know what they say about borrowing without permission, right? It's called stealing." "It was for the greater good," Zylock protested. "I was trying to unlock its secrets, to see if it could help us in the fight against the Zoglor Empire." "The Zoglor Empire? Those guys are a joke," I scoffed. "But I digress. Where's the sphere now?" Zylock looked sheepish. "That's the thing. I might have accidentally activated its self-defense mechanism and it teleported away." "Of course it did," I said, pinching the bridge of my nose. "Any idea where it went?" "I've been trying to trace its energy signature, but it's bouncing all over the galaxy," Zylock admitted. "Great, just great," I muttered. All right, Zylok, you're coming with me. You got us into this mess. You're going to help me get us out of it. With Zylok in tow, we set off in my ship, the Stellar Wind, a sleek piece of machinery that I'd spent more credits on than I'd like to admit. Vera was busy scanning for the sphere's energy signature, while Zylok tinkered with a portable tracker. So, what's the plan, genius? I asked Zylok, watching as he fumbled with his gadgets. I'm amplifying the tracker to pick up the sphere's unique energy signature. It should give us a more precise location, he explained. Should? I echoed. I love your confidence. A few tense moments later, Vera's voice filled the cockpit. I've got a lock on the sphere's energy signature. It's on a planet in the Draconis system. Buckle up, Zylok. We're going on a little trip, I said, punching in the coordinates. As we hurtled through hyperspace, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was going to be one of those days. The kind where everything that can go wrong will go wrong. We landed on Draconis 4, a jungle planet teeming with hostile flora and fauna. Because of course it was. Why couldn't the sphere have teleported to a nice, quiet beach planet for once? Stay close, Zylok. I don't want to have to explain to the council why their top scientist got eaten by a giant carnivorous plant, I warned, as we made our way through the dense underbrush. Draconis 4 was a planet that seemed designed to kill anything that set foot on it. The air was thick with humidity, and the sound of alien wildlife echoed through the trees. The tracker led us to a clearing, where the sphere was sitting in the middle of a makeshift camp. Surrounding it were a group of rough-looking mercenaries. Wonderful. Mercenaries, I muttered. Stay here, Zylok. I'll handle this. I sauntered into the clearing, hands raised. Hey there, fellas. Mind if I take that shiny ball off your hands? The leader, a burly alien with a scar across his face, laughed. And why would we do that? Because if you don't, I'll be forced to get creative. And trust me, you don't want to see me get creative, I said, giving them my best menacing grin. They laughed again, but before they could react, I whipped out my blaster and shot the leader in the leg. He went down with a howl and the rest scattered. All right, Zylok, grab the sphere and let's get out of here, I called. We made it back to the ship without further incident, the sphere safely in tow. But I knew this wasn't over yet. Back on the Stellar Wind, I noticed Zylok acting suspiciously. He kept glancing at the sphere and fiddling with his comm device. All right, Zylok, spill it. What are you up to? I demanded, cornering him. Zylok sighed. Fine. I've been in contact with a buyer. I was going to sell the sphere to fund my research. Unbelievable, I said. You know, for a smart guy, you're incredibly stupid. I grabbed the comm device and smashed it. Consider yourself lucky I don't turn you over to the council. Now sit down and shut up while I figure out our next move. As we approached the Galactic Council's headquarters, Vera's alarms blared. Jack, we've got incoming. A fleet of Zoglor ships is heading straight for us. Of course they are, I muttered. All right, Zylok, you're going to help me fight these guys off. Think you can handle that? Zylok nodded, looking determined for once. Let's do this. We engaged in a furious space battle, dodging lasers and returning fire. It was touch and go for a while, but we managed to outmaneuver the Zoglors and make it to the Council's HQ. Counselor Vecta greeted us as we disembarked, the sphere safely in my hands. Detective Thompson, you've done it again. The galaxy owes you a debt of gratitude. Yeah, just make sure I get paid, I said, handing over the sphere. As we walked away, I turned to Zylok. Consider this a second chance, Zylok. Don't screw it up. He nodded, looking humbled. Thank you, Jack. I won't. I smirked. You better not. Now let's get a drink. I think we've earned it. The Galactic Bar was a dive on the edge of the Council's space station, a place where you could find a stiff drink and an interesting conversation, usually in that order. Zylok and I took seats at the bar, and I ordered a couple of Ganymede ales. Here's to surviving another day, I said, raising my glass. Zylok clinked his glass against mine. To surviving, he echoed. As we drank, I couldn't help but reflect on the day's events. The sphere was safe, Zylok was no longer a threat, and I was finally getting paid. Not bad for a day's work. What's next for you, Zylok? I asked, genuinely curious. I'm going to focus on my research, but this time I'll do it by the book. No more shortcuts, he said earnestly. Good call. Maybe you'll actually discover something useful, I said with a grin. Vera's voice interrupted our conversation. Jack, you've got another message from the council. Looks like they've got another job for you. I groaned. Can't a guy enjoy his drink in peace? Zylock chuckled. Duty calls, detective. I sighed and downed the rest of my ale. All right, Vera, patch them through. The hologram of Counselor Vecta appeared again. Detective Thompson, we have an urgent situation on Titan. We need your expertise. Of course you do, I said, rolling my eyes. I'll be there, but this time I'm doubling my fee. As the hologram faded, I turned to Zylock. Looks like I've got to save the galaxy again. You take care of yourself, Zylock. You too, Jack. Good luck, he said. I stood up, tossing a few credits on the bar. Let's go, Vera. Time to earn our keep. And with that, I was off to my next adventure. Because when you're the best intergalactic detective around, there's always another mystery waiting to be solved.